He then went on a conveyor belt of transatlantics, delivering new yachts fresh out of their factories in France to charter bases in the Caribbean. His new address was now Nick Healy, care of a yacht somewhere mid-Atlantic. He frequently spoke that his greatest enjoyment and achievement in this era was his delivery of a yacht from San Diego to Fiji, enjoying many of the Pacific islands en route. Coinciding with this, he raced many Isoras and completed in Dunleary to Dingle, Round Ireland and Fastnet races, taking the odd rest to compete in Cork weeks or a cruise to either Scotland or the south of Ireland. An opportunity to join the late Ian Morrison, who Aidan mentioned, on Safari of Howth as sailing master, where he spent many more happy years. This was followed by him being asked to join the marine team here in Howth Yacht Club, which he considered an honour and a privilege. There is no doubt that he met many very good friends in his time employed here at Howth at this yacht club. He was my cabin mate on a 6-week voyage to the Arctic with John Gore Grimes on Arctic Fern, another great achievement for his logbook. Talking of logbooks, Nick continued to fill the pages with a winter cruise of the Windward Islands in the Caribbean, another winter cruise of a different nature was attempting to sail from Howth around Iceland in December. Although due to hitting very severe weather in the Atlantic, this attempt was aborted. He did, however, complete another round Ireland with a pit stop in West Cork to celebrate New Year's Eve before returning to home port. Nick at last developed a taste for more leisurely cruising, and a couple of cruises on the south of France were very close to his heart, as he enjoyed showing off his fluent French. Along this path, titles for him were established, and he even scripted his own titles. Examples being Sailing Master, Grumpy Nick, Marine Operative, Club Servant. And another happened when sailing in Russian waters and about to land on a Russian island with neither permission nor a visa, and unaware as to whether there were residents or not. With strategic precision, the skipper commissioned him Corporal Healy, a title he accepted with great delight. Nick was the true diva at the finish of race party. And also, on a run ashore while cruising, he was known on many occasions to leave the visiting port residents with strained laughing muscles, no matter how brief the visit. Nick, Corporal Healy, you have left many skippers, fellow crewmates, and sailing friends with long-lasting, happy memories. You have also left us with a very fine collection of Lambay rules stories.
Thank you very much, both Aidan and Kieran. They were lovely tributes exposing Nick. We now know who Nick was at. We know what he was doing, and I think he'd be very happy because he never really had confidence in himself. He never spoke much. His achievements, he never spoke of them to any great extent, certainly among his family. and possibly friends outside his sailing and yacht sailing and foodie friends, or would you like that? As Aidan said, he had a great knowledge of food, and he and Catherine really set up a superb establishment there. I'm going to conclude very briefly to, first of all, thank you all for coming. Gosh, there are so many of you. Nick would never have expected this. Many of you went to see him in the hospice. In fact, so many, to the extent that you had to book a slot at one stage. But unfortunately, it was all too short. He had to turn some of you away at times. He just became unable for it. As has been said already by Father Philip Healy, he bore his illness really bravely. He never complained. And although Philip didn't see him before he went into the hospice, I can tell you he bore his illness from the time he underwent his operation over 3 years ago, equally bravely. He never complained. I know he was overwhelmed by your friendship, but when I went into the hospice, he spoke of who had been in and who had visited him, and he just felt that turning people away was the wrong thing to do, but he could do nothing about it. He was weakening. I don't propose to say much more. I just think, as Kieran said, we are really going to miss him, we in the family, and I know you here at Howth. I'll read the following little piece, which was pointed out to me. I didn't dig it up. I think it's just appropriate. It's from Samuel Butler, a 19th century philosopher, and I think it's appropriate. I fall asleep in the full and certain hope that my slumber shall not be broken, and that though I be all forgetting, yet shall I not be forgotten, but continue life in the thoughts and deeds of those I loved. We all say farewell, dear Nick. You'll never be forgotten. And at that I conclude, other than for a few words of thanks to everybody. First of all, thank you to everybody here and all those who supported Nick during good and bad times, and we've heard it from Aidan, and Aidan was one of his greatest supporters. What Aidan did for Nick couldn't be surpassed. I was involved at that time when Nick lost Catherine with Aidan to try and get Aidan, or get Nick to pull together and use the talents that he had. But Aidan explained that to you. I want to thank the hospice. I've never experienced a hospice. But my God, they were unsurpassable. I don't think anything more need be said. I want to thank Philip Tierney for travelling from Glenstone and for composing such nice little prayers, specially for Nick. And as he said, he did them specially for Nick. And that is appreciated by Nick's whole family, and I'm sure by all of you who loved him here. I want to thank Frank Ennis, a member of the club here, who runs a printing company, J.J. Laura Printers, who volunteered to the printing of the programme which we prepared, and it's a beautiful job he did. We left it to him entirely. I want to thank Dave Cullen, past flag officer here in the club, who made things happen. My gum he did. In the past week, he's done a superb job, and he couldn't